Sap.
Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. My name is Morrow, and this is Mary, and we're back with some more RPG horror stories for today. Hey Mary, now that we have our own server that we play with friends, so what is your favorite part about DMing?
DMing you.
What is that supposed to mean?
Oh, I thought we were talking about something else.
Mary, I think your kink is showing.
Moving on.
Moving on. Anyway, let's get some RPG horror stories for today. PSA, no means no. Not okay, but you have to roll really high. This is a reoccurring theme with the stories on the sub, where a player tries to ask to do something god-awful and outside the consent of the table. The DM will obviously not want the god-awful thing to happen. The DM would want the problem player to attack a harmless dog or commit sexual assault. But instead of saying no, the DM will offer some super high DC or require some roll with a 5% chance of occurring. The reason is, well, it's unlikely to roll a natural 20 or whatever. This allows someone to avoid the conflict or actually saying no, and allows the DM some peace of mind that they kind of sort of oppose the player looking to do something god-awful. But this doesn't work. This actually encourages the bad behavior, making it seem like a lucky reward for a particular good roll, which is the same way the game rewards players for attempting difficult or interesting actions in the game. All you've done is make the antisocial behavior a reward on a level of scoring a critical hit. This is less an RPG horror story and more like a meta discussion, but you know what, I agree. A lot more DMs need to just start saying no. If a player wants to do something gross or terrible or something awful, and the DM just gives them a chance to possibly roll for it with an insanely high DC or like a 5% chance of success, that still means you can do it if you roll really high. Given even a chance of it being a possibility is not a no. The easiest way to say no is just by saying no.
I don't agree to the dice thing. It definitely should just be a straight no. If it's not something you want and it like just makes you uncomfortable or feel like it's gonna ruin it, it's just a no. I know saying no is hard. I mean, I have trouble saying no like literally every time.
You just said no.
Probably. I don't know anymore.
You just said no
I don't
again.
know myself anymore.
You just said no again.
Oh my god. That's not the right no.
You just said
that
no.
was one.
Either way, you need to practice saying no. I know it can be difficult at times, and it's difficult to like. I get sometimes people are just non-confrontational, and I completely understand that. But you're the DM. You're at the helm of the whole thing, and sometimes you gotta take the helm by storm. You look like you're about to sneeze with that emo, with that expression. Yeah, you're about to sneeze. Just achoo.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, it's important to start saying no because you are the DM. You are at the helm of the whole thing, and sometimes you gotta put your foot down because you're gonna have players that are gonna be doing problem behavior in that situation. You need to learn to confront it and say no. You've made the bad behavior more enticing to the problem player, and you've done the exact opposite of denying the player, but assigning game mechanics to what the player wants to do. It's like assigning stats to something you don't want the players to fight. Sure, you could assign that creature crazy good stats, but that only makes the creature a crazy good challenge. Players see achievable difficulty as enticing, not forbidden, and they're right to apply that logic. It's how the game works. If you want to stop someone from behaving poorly, giving him a long shot chance of being allowed to behave poorly just doesn't do the job. You need to actually say no. That's the difference between setting a boundary and setting a game mechanic. The former does the job, the latter absolutely does not. And I agree completely, even though this is not an RPG horror story post, it's a meta post, but I agree with it completely. Want to do problem behavior? No. Want to essay? No. Want to make some pigs in a blanket? I mean, that's kind of delicious. But you want to set an orphanage afire? No. And vice versa for players. If players find themselves in a situation where the DM is doing something awful and terrible and setting them up for a really bad time, or setting up a scene that makes people feel uncomfortable, you also should tell the DM no. If the DM is trying to set you up that you're like pinned and chained up in some sex dungeon and you are not into running a fetish game, you need to stop getting excited. You need to let the DM know that it's not happening, that you're not interested in that sort of thing, that you don't want to be stuck inside of a sex dungeon pinned up and chained. Stop getting further excited. You gotta say to the DM, no. No, Mary, I'm not putting a sex dungeon in our game for you to get chained up into. That's not happening.
Ooh.
I mean, if it's like with friends and you trust people and you know exactly what y'all doing, y'all do whatever. It's your game. But if it comes to like dealing with a stranger and the stranger just wants to put you in a really uncomfortable situation, whether it be a DM or a player, you gotta tell them no. Practice saying no. Everybody practice saying no. You know what? Write down in the comment section. Write no in the comment section. If you're watching this video and you got to this point, write no. Don't give any context. Don't give anything. Just write no. Anyway, let's get to the next RPG horror story for today. DM turns campaign into edgy shonen and players respawn packed out of it. This all started about 2 months ago. Me and a bunch of friends got interested in RPGs after quite a bit of time without playing a single game. So we started a group and got one of our friends to GM it. We'll call him Kik, I think how you pronounce it. Kik had one experience in GMing before, and it was horrible. First of all, he had no idea how to GM and didn't even know the rules properly. And even worse, he was a GMPC. And it was not uncommon for him to be absent of the session for 1 hour and other players having to GMPC on his place. That campaign ended quickly. I'm assuming he means like DMPC. He like to use DMPCs more than he like DMing maybe.
Yeah.
I'm assuming. Fast forward to 2024, we gave him a second chance and everyone wanted to play and he said he got better as a GM and will not fail us this time. So we'll let him have a shot. The party was me, an Astral Elf, Bard Sorcerer, later changed to Sorcerer, a Winged Tiefling Wizard Artificer, and a Dwarf Cleric and a Dragable Ranger Rogue. The campaign started really solid with the first session. The second session was kind of a letdown, but not really problematic. The thing that he still doesn't know the rules of, in the first session he didn't even know what was AC. Because of that, combat was very slow. But not that we couldn't get through. The problem started in the third session when the GM introduced Sophie, our new companion that had no utility or reason to be there. She was a mini-boss basically that we had to defeat for an item, and after that it was revealed that she was mind-controlled, had no memories of her bad deeds. The thing is that GM also said that she vaguely remembered killing one of our friend's NPCs, and when we brought it up to her, GM refused to acknowledge it, stating that he never said that. Everyone at the table agreed that he had indeed said that, but he just refused to admit it. The other problem with this character is that the GM wanted her to be our companion. The thing is that no one wanted her. In character, we were way too suspicious of her to bring her along for our adventures. Out of character, we just weren't interested. After he basically begged us to take her with us, we just agreed. One thing DM could have done in this situation is make it so that she actually did have involvement with a player's NPC friend or whatever, and then that's why they had to take her with them instead of, denying that, because that's like a perfect plot point. I vaguely remember interacting with your friend player character, but I don't remember where. Maybe I could recollect my memories as we could adventure through the place where I last seen them or remember something. Maybe something could jog my memory. There's a reason for her to stick around, even if she doesn't actually do anything other than just support players in whichever way she can. Simple DM, very easy, simple solution. Fast forward some sessions, and outside of him not knowing the rules properly and making up cities and encounters on the spot, it wasn't too bad. Until about session 5 or 6. That's when the campaign started to become actual hot garbage. We were going to battle our strongest enemy yet to get one of the items we need to stop the BBAG. The boss enters the field, and after that we basically got into a 30-minute cutscene because the boss first gave a speech that we couldn't interact with in any way because GM wouldn't just shut us down. Try to talk, silence. Try to attack, you suddenly faint. Try to cast a spell, your magic fails. And after that, an NPC that we knew for 10 minutes and didn't give a single crap about goes and fight him. That was 10-minute anime sword fight that we again could not interrupt, and after that the NPC died and gave us a motivational speech and his whole backstory like we gave a crap. We said multiple times during the period that we want to interact, not watch. If you force a cutscene into your game, you're gonna get a lot of angry players. Don't do that unless the cutscene is interactable or super short. If it has to be a cutscene, make it extremely short and let the players interact again, because sitting around for 30 minutes would be boring. It's like, imagine if, let's say for example, I would just sat here for 30 minutes and just silent the whole time. I'd rather watch paint dry than watch myself be silent, dude. You know what? I'm gonna have a paint dry watching stream. We need to watch paint dry. That's what I need.
We watch Morrow dry, so we just make you moist and then watch it dry off for a whole stream.
Anyway, back to the story. This scene had no impact on the actual fight. After the fight ended, there was another surprise. The mage that was fighting with him was actually Sophie's sister, and she was also being controlled. And the GM also wanted her to be a companion. Obviously, we turned her down. Not only that, but we also promised that Sophie stayed there with her sister where she would 100% be safe. The GM started fuming after that and claiming that the next companion would be male, thinking that the reason we turned them down is because of their gender. We explained to him the situation in a not so calm manner and moved on. But the GM was actually so salty that the boss we just killed got up, stabbed the sister in the heart, and then died again. We revived the sister anyway. Imagine being so upset that your characters, your players, aren't interested in an NPCs that are forced to watch a cutscene for. Just make him compelling, make him interesting, make him useful to your party, make him actually helpful. Players want to actually care for your NPCs besides just writing cool backstory stuff for them. Backstory is one thing, but if your NPCs give party gifts or find rewards for them, or maybe fix up their armor, or maybe like take away curses from them and stuff like that. If they have some sort of a utility and usage that is more than just being there for the sake of the story, I think your party members would very much like to have those NPCs there. Having somebody that's a support character rather than just somebody that just stands there and just regurgitates and exposes lore, I think it's going to be way more important to them, and way more valuable to them. A thing that I forgot to talk about previously is the magic items. Because the GM, again, does not know the rules, he homebrews the most OP, unfitting, and out-of-line magic items, and we, the players, have to balance them out to not make the campaign bonkers. These items commonly use percentage and not existent damage that he didn't know were non-existent, and one of these items included a pair of pistols that did 1d20 damage in total and had infinite ammo. Or level 4 and 5. You could do anywhere between like 1 damage to 20 damage plus modifier. The campaign took even more of an anime turn when he introduced an NPC. An old man that we joked was the BBG in disguise. He came back and we got suspicious of him. All of us but the cleric. The cleric then got alone with him and literally gave him the haki from One Piece by touching his forehead. The GM also started power scaling us out of session, saying that the cleric was going to be way stronger than the rest of the party who needed to keep up. Mary, you watch One Piece. What's a haki?
Oh, it's like a really strong power that they get later on, where it's like there's different kinds. If it's like kind of like the Emperor's haki, where it's only like a few people in the world have it, they can basically make anyone faint. You can strengthen your body and it'll be made into like steel or harder than steel.
Okay.
Kind of like that.
Powers, okay.
Like stuff with the I can't remember.
Okay, well, basically, Jesus Christ, you okay?
I'm not good.
You're fine, don't worry, you're good.
I'm hearing his will. Someone save me, please.
I'm not putting against your will. If you need to go, you gotta go. I gotta force you.
Yeah, I'm trying to stick with this.
So basically, hockey is a superpower thing that basically reinforces somebody. Alright, well, a player having that, definitely gonna be unbalanced, and looking at how the DM balances the homebrew, I feel like it's gonna turn into a big unbalanced mess. Gonna be a big hodgepodge of unbalanced mechanics. Then we get into the last session. The party reunites because we're sleeping in different places, and then all of a sudden a fight starts. It was that old man and the new NPC, and it was an actual Dragon Ball fight. They were throwing themselves at walls with punches and dashing entire kilometers in seconds. You also couldn't interact with them in a meaningful way. That whole brawl was ultimately irrelevant. The party then goes to an abandoned keep, where another item we were looking for could be. We'll find an elf and his bodyguard with him. I was playing a Conquest Paladin, so my plan was to astral step right to the elf and make him frightened on me to get the item. And I said that to the GM many times before combat started, and when I reminded him again of my action, he said that I never made the action. Everyone at the table heard me say it multiple times, but according to the GM, I never stated that I wanted to do it. After the player defended me, saying that I should be able to perform my action, he threw a tantrum and started playing the victim, saying that will always support me to ruin his campaign. I do my action, he fails the saving throw, the elf is frightened. But out of nowhere, the bodyguards pop up between me and the elf. He's a speedster. And of course he is. I'm assuming what he means is like he ran off real fast and the bodyguard just like sped right in front of you or something. I don't know, like materialized right in front of you. I'm assuming so. I understand English is not though like main language or anything, but I'm trying my best here, y'all. We're trying our best to be here. And then out of sheer spite, he makes me frightened as well and puts me back with the party. After that, we're just so done with this BS, we decided in our private chat that we're just going to respawn ourselves to end the campaign. The cleric casts Wall of Fire on everyone, me and Ranger die with the fire, and the artificer shoots himself in the head. After that, the speedster grabs the cleric and starts giving him a speech, and out of nowhere, goes somewhere else and comes back with Sophie. The elf starts... What? What? The elves start snuggling her for literally no reason with the cleric watching, and then the speedster kills them both.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
That's the reaction the DM has, because the players are just so fed up with this stuff, they basically decide, okay, we're respawning, and then DM pulls that. DM, you're not making your situation any better. I think doing nothing in the situation, I honestly doing anything else in the situation will be better than this. What? Just immediately jump into struggle snuggle just like that? At the end of the day, the respawn pack was the best option, because now we're going to play an actually good campaign with an actually good GM.
Meta commentary Mario just adding a little bit of caveat to the story. You know, you guys could have just left. You didn't have to do a respawn pack. You could have just got out of there, you know?
Yikes. There you go. Happy ending.
Happy ending,
was it?
like, what the hell? This is such a weird twist to pull towards the end. I don't understand this GM. I feel like they need to learn. They need to learn the rules and maybe look into a new system. Maybe D&D is not what they want. Maybe they want something more bombastic, more shonen-like. There's probably systems for that already existing. Just use those. Don't put in struggle snuggle scenes for no reason, because your players are just so fed up with your nonsense. You kind of made the bed, DM. You gotta sleep in it. And with that, that's all the stories for today. Thank you guys so much for watching the stories. We hope you enjoyed. We hope you had a blast.
If you like this content, make sure to like and subscribe. This has been Tales Tomorrow with Mary, who's very dead right now.
Whoa.
Leave a message after the beep.
She's not dead. She's tired. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Bye.
Bye.